Have you ever wondered if that old coin in your pocket or collection could be worth a fortune? Some rare coins have sold for millions of dollars, making them some of the most valuable collectibles in the world. In this video, we'll explore the most valuable coins and what makes them worth so much. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. First up, the 1946 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark. In full red color shade, but in damaged condition. How much is this penny worth in today's auction market? Let's break it down and find out. All right, collectors, the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark was minted in Denver. And while 1946 coins are not as rare as some other years in the Wheat Penny series, this one is different. This penny has a beautiful full red color shade, but what makes it even more interesting is that it's in damaged condition. So, let's talk about how these factors play a role in determining the coin's value in today's market. Here's a close-up of the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark. The coin has a full red color shade, which is one of the best color grades for a penny. It looks bright and vibrant, a sign that it's been well preserved for its age. The vibrant red color is what collectors look for when it comes to high-quality copper coins. Now, let's discuss the condition of this coin. This particular penny is in damaged condition, meaning that it has significant wear and damage. You can see some discoloration, scratches, and possibly even dents or other signs of heavy handling. Despite the damage, the coin still holds some value because of its red color and the D mint mark, which adds a bit of rarity to it. Just to clarify, damaged condition typically refers to coins that have been worn or damaged, but still maintain some key features. In this case, while the coin may not be in perfect shape, the full red color is still a major selling point. Even coins with damage or poor condition can retain some value if the original features like the vibrant red copper tone are visible. So let's talk about the value of this 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark in full red color shade and damaged condition. While coins in damaged condition usually aren't as valuable as those in mint or near-mint states, this one still holds a certain charm because of the red color and the fact that it's part of the Lincoln Wheat series. In today's auction market, a 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark in full red color shade and in damaged condition generally has a market value between $1 and $3. While it may not be worth as much as a coin in mint condition or one with a unique error, the red color and historical significance still make it an appealing option for collectors. Now, there are a few things that could influence the value of this penny even more. If the coin was preserved better, with less damage, or if the demand for 1946 pennies is high at the time of auction, the value could push to the higher end of this range, or possibly beyond. But overall, this 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark in damaged condition is a great piece for collectors who appreciate history, and the beauty of a full red color coin prices can fluctuate depending on the market and collector interest. Even though damaged condition typically results in lower values, the full red color shade and the D mint mark contribute to its worth. That's why you might see these coins in auction listings, even if they're not in pristine condition. So, to sum it up, the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the D mint mark in full red color shade and damaged condition is worth anywhere from $1 to $3 in today's auction market. While it may not fetch top-tier prices, it's still a solid and historically rich coin to have in any collection. Next up, the 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny with a D mint mark. If you've ever wondered about its value in fine condition in today's auction market, you're in the right place. Stick around as we explore everything you need to know about this iconic wartime penny. Now, the 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny is one of the most famous pennies ever minted by the U.S. Mint. If you're not familiar with it, let me break it down for you. During World War II, copper was in short supply, so the U.S. Mint switched the composition of the penny from copper to steel coated with zinc. That's why these pennies have that distinct silver-colored look. Today, we're focusing on the 1943 penny with a D mint mark, meaning it was minted in Denver. But how much could this penny be worth today in fine condition? Let's take a closer look. Here's a closer view of the 1943 Lincoln Steel penny. As you can see, this coin is in fine condition, which means it shows wear, but the key details are still clearly visible. You can see Abraham Lincoln's profile, the Liberty inscription, and the date on the obverse, along with the wheat stalks and the E pluribus unum motto on the reverse. Although there's some wear, you can still make out the important features of the coin. Now that we've taken a good look at the coin, let's talk about its historical significance. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny was struck during a time of great change. Due to wartime shortages, the U.S. Mint used steel instead of copper for pennies, and this penny is one of the most recognizable wartime issues in U.S. history. The D Mint mark tells us this particular penny was produced at the Denver Mint. Since copper was needed for military equipment, the U.S. Mint produced steel pennies in 1943 as a temporary solution. In total, the Denver Mint struck over 1 billion of these steel pennies, but they're still considered highly collectible today due to their historical context. In addition, the D Mint mark makes it slightly rarer than pennies minted in other locations, such as Philadelphia or San Francisco. So, you're probably wondering, what is the value of a 1943 Lincoln steel penny with a D Mint mark in fine condition? Well, the value of this coin can vary depending on its condition, demand, and market trends. In fine condition, this coin generally falls in the range of $10 to $20 in today's auction market. To give you an idea of recent auction results, a 1943 Lincoln steel penny with a D Mint mark in fine condition has sold for anywhere between $10 and $20. Of course, if the coin were in higher condition, like extra fine or uncirculated, it could fetch a much higher price. But in fine condition, this is the typical market range. Now let's talk about some of the factors that influence its value. As we've mentioned, condition is key. Fine condition means the coin has seen some wear, but the details are still legible. It's not quite as worn as a good condition coin, and that makes it more valuable. Another important factor is the mint mark. The D Mint mark indicates it was struck in Denver, and while it's not as rare as some of the other mint marks, it still has a unique place in the world of coin collecting. Coin collecting is about more than just the dollar value. It's about the stories behind the coins. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny is a reminder of the wartime effort and the ingenuity that went into preserving resources. Even though this penny might not be worth hundreds of dollars in fine condition, it still holds a special place in many collections due to its historical significance. So there you have it. If you have a 1943 Lincoln steel penny with a D Mint mark in fine condition, you can expect to get somewhere between $10 to $20 at auction. While it's not an ultra-rare coin, it's certainly a valuable piece of American history that many collectors are eager to own. We're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1924 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny. But this isn't just any 1924 penny. This one's got a unique twist. It's a without mint mark version, in fine condition with a rare black color shade. Stick around to find out what makes this coin so valuable in today's auction market. The 1924 wheat penny, first issued in 1909, is known for its distinct wheat ears on the reverse and the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. This coin is part of the long-running series that was produced by the U.S. Mint until 1958. But today, we're focusing specifically on the 1924 version without a mint mark. You might be wondering, what's the difference between a mint-marked and a non-mint marked 1924 penny? Well, most of the 1924 pennies were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark at the time. So, the 1924 no mint mark is the standard version. Now, let's talk about the coin's condition. The coin we're discussing here is in fine condition, which means it has some wear but still retains a decent amount of detail, especially for a coin that's over 100 years old. You can still clearly see Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks, but there's some smoothing and slight fading. And here's where things get interesting. This coin features a black color shade, a condition often caused by tarnishing, environmental exposure, or the way the coin has been stored. While this shade might not be as flashy as a pristine, shiny coin, it can still contribute to the overall uniqueness and appeal of the penny. So, what's this unique 1924 penny worth in today's auction market? In fine condition with that rare black shade, we're looking at a value range anywhere from $50 to $250, depending on the exact quality and buyer interest at the time. However, if the coin had been in mint state, meaning no wear and tear, its value could be significantly higher, reaching upwards of $700 or more. Keep in mind, the value of any coin can fluctuate based on current market conditions, the demand from collectors, and the exact condition of the coin itself. But one thing's for sure. If you come across a 1924 Lincoln wheat penny, especially one in fine condition with a black shade, hold on to it. It could be worth more than you think. Next up, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition. How much is this coin worth in today's auction market? Stick around and let's dive into it. All right, today we're taking a closer look at the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny. This year is especially significant because it falls right at the start of World War II, and many collectors are drawn to coins from this era. This particular penny is without a mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia, and it's in extra fine condition. So, let's talk about what that means for its value in today's market. Here's a close-up of the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny. As you can see, the coin is in extra fine condition. That means it shows minimal wear. The details of Abraham Lincoln's portrait are sharp, the wheat stalks on the reverse are clear, and the date is easily readable. You can see that it still has a lot of its original mint luster, even though it's not perfect. Extra fine condition is just one step below uncirculated, and that makes it a highly sought-after coin. Coins in extra fine condition are often highly prized by collectors because they've been well preserved without major wear. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny was minted in large quantities, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable, especially when it's in great condition like this one. Now, since this penny doesn't have a mint mark, it comes from Philadelphia. That makes it slightly less rare compared to those from the Denver or San Francisco mints, but it's still a key coin for many collectors. If you're not familiar with coin grading, extra fine condition is a grade that indicates the coin has been used, but still retains most of its original details. The coin should have clear, defined features, including Lincoln's face, and there should be minimal signs of wear, but maybe just a slight softness on the highest points. So, how much can you expect to get for a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition in today's auction market? Well, let's talk about the price range. In today's market, a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition typically ranges in value from $3 to $7. This range can vary depending on demand and market conditions, but on average, you can expect this coin to fetch around $5 at auction. Now, some of you might be thinking, it's only worth $3 to $5 to $7, that doesn't seem like much. But remember, the value of a coin isn't just about its face value, it's about its condition rarity and historical significance. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny is a great example of a non-error coin that's still very much valued in the extra fine condition grade. When you see a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny like this one at auction, collectors are often looking for quality, condition, and the right timing in the market. Extra fine coins tend to perform well in auctions because they strike the balance between being affordable for collectors and still offering quality details that make them desirable. To sum it all up, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition typically ranges in value from $3 to $7 in the auction market today. If you come across one of these in your collection, it's definitely a nice coin to have, and with the right preservation, it can hold steady value. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark, found in dirty condition with a black color shade. If you're wondering how much it could be worth today in the auction market, stay tuned to find out. All right, let's get into the details of this fascinating coin. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the classic wheat cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. This particular penny was minted in San Francisco, as indicated by the S mint mark found on the reverse side. But what makes it interesting is its dirty condition and the unique black color shade it has developed over the years. The 1944 wheat penny is a great example of how age and condition can greatly influence a coin's value. This penny features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the reverse, you'll find the familiar wheat stalks. However, in this case, the coin has a black color shade, possibly from oxidation or being exposed to certain environmental factors over time. The condition of this penny is key to its value, and being in dirty condition means the coin has visible dirt, grime, and perhaps discoloration. The black shade can often be a result of environmental exposure, such as being stored improperly or coming into contact with contaminants like moisture, oils, or even chemicals over the years. While some collectors see this as a flaw, others might consider it part of the coin's history. Now, you may be wondering, does the black color shade and dirty condition affect the value of the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny? Well, the short answer is yes. Condition plays a big role in determining a coin's value. But even in dirty condition, the coin can still hold some value for certain collectors, especially those who focus on historical coins or enjoy the unique look of a piece like this. So, how much is this coin worth in the today's auction market? Typically, a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark in dirty condition might be worth anywhere between $90,000. Of course, the value could be a bit lower or higher, depending on the market demand, but don't expect it to reach the same price as a clean and uncirculated coin. Even though this 1944 Lincoln wheat penny may have its imperfections, collectors still value it for its historical significance. The S mint mark indicates that it was minted in San Francisco, and the 1944 date places it during an era when the U.S. was recovering from World War II, which adds another layer of interest over the years. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, with the S mint mark, has remained one of the more common pennies from the era. However, for a dirty blackened penny, it's still valued by some collectors who appreciate the unique look or are interested in coins from the war years. While its value isn't sky-high, it's definitely a coin that holds some appeal. So, if you own a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark and it's in dirty condition with that black color shade, you could expect it to sell for around $110,000 at auction, depending on the overall demand and how the coin is perceived by collectors. Keep in mind that the market can fluctuate, so the value may go up or down. Despite being in dirty condition, this coin is still part of the iconic wheat cent series, and that alone can make it a valuable addition to a collector's set. Some people even prefer the patina or unique color of older coins, seeing the dirt and discoloration as a reminder of the coin's long journey through history. So there you have it, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark in dirty condition and with that black color shade can be worth between in today's auction market. While it might not fetch top dollar, it's still an interesting and unique piece to have in your collection. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with an S mint mark. Specifically, we'll be diving into its value in good condition in today's auction market. So, if you're curious about what this penny could be worth today, keep watching. All right, let's take a close look at the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark. This coin is from the year 1944, during the height of World War II, and it was minted in San Francisco, as indicated by the S mint mark right below the date. But what about its condition? How much is it worth today in good condition? Let's break it down. Here's a close-up of the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny. As you can see, the coin is in good condition, which means it shows signs of heavy wear but still retains the basic details. In good condition, the date and mint mark are still readable, and you can make out the general features of Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks on the reverse, though they're worn. It's not the most pristine grade, but it's still very much a collectible piece for many coins. In good condition are typically considered lower grade compared to coins in extra fine or uncirculated conditions, but don't let that fool you. While this penny may not be in perfect shape, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with an S mint mark is still a sought-after coin among collectors, especially when you factor in its historical context and the fact that it's a wartime coin. Let's talk a little history. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny was minted during World War II, and at that time, the U.S. was transitioning from using copper for pennies to using steel for the war effort. The 1944 penny, however, went back to being made from copper, and this is part of why these coins hold a special place in the hearts of collectors. The S mint mark indicates it was minted in San Francisco, which gives it a bit more rarity compared to the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Now, the burning question, how much is this coin worth today in auction? A 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark in good condition typically ranges in value from $1.50 to $5. Yes, it's not a high dollar coin, but it's still worth a good chunk for being in good condition. It's important to note that the value can fluctuate depending on the demand at the time of the auction. To give you an idea, at recent auctions, a 1944 S Lincoln Wheat Penny in good condition has sold for prices as low as $1.50, and on the higher end, it has gone for $5. Factors like the coin's exact condition, the reputation of the auction house, and current demand for wartime pennies all influence its final sale price. So, what does all of this mean for your coin? If you've got a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark in good condition, you've got yourself a piece of history that, while not incredibly rare or valuable in mint condition, is still definitely worth holding onto. Coin collecting is about more than just the dollar value, it's about the story behind each coin. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a perfect example of how collectors appreciate these little pieces of history, even when they're not in perfect shape. This coin's value lies not just in its copper composition, but in the era it represents. To sum it up, if you have a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark in good condition, you can expect to get anywhere from $1.50 to $5 in the current auction market. While it might not be a rare find, it still holds historical value and can be a great addition to your collection. Next up, the 1952 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, and it's in dirty condition. You might be wondering, how much is this coin worth today? Well, let's find out. The 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a fascinating piece of American history. This penny, minted in 1952, features Abraham Lincoln on the front and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse. But what makes it especially interesting today is its condition. While it may not look like much, this penny is still valuable to collectors, especially considering its dirty state. But how much could it fetch in the market? Now, let's talk about the condition. This penny has a dirty appearance, which means it has visible grime, dirt, and possibly some tarnish. Dirt can accumulate over time, especially if a coin is stored improperly or exposed to environmental factors. While it's not in mint condition, these factors don't always prevent it from having value. In fact, many collectors are still interested in coins like these, even if they're not in pristine shape. Coins like this 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny are often graded on a scale from poor to uncirculated. Since this penny is in dirty condition, it's likely to be in a lower grade, somewhere around good to very good. Coins in these conditions generally have visible wear, dirt, and imperfections, but they can still be valuable depending on the demand in the market. So, how much can you expect to get for a dirty 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in today's auction market? While the 1952 penny isn't as rare as some of the earlier years, it's still a classic coin from the Wheat Cent series that collectors love to get their hands on. In dirty condition, the value of the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark typically ranges between $1.50 to $35. However, if you're lucky and the market conditions are right, you might see a slightly higher value. It's all about the demand at the time of auction and how much collectors are willing to pay for it. So while this 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in dirty condition won't fetch a fortune, it still holds historical significance and appeals to collectors who want to complete their sets or own a piece of U.S. coinage history. If you have one of these coins in your collection, don't be discouraged by its condition. There's still value here. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series ran from 1909 to 1958, and the 1952 penny is part of that iconic collection. While the 1952 penny is relatively common compared to earlier years, it still holds nostalgic and historical value for many collectors. To sum up, if you have a 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in dirty condition, it's worth somewhere between $1.50 in today's auction market. Of course, if you happen to clean it or find a better condition one, the value could increase significantly. But remember, cleaning a coin can sometimes damage its value, so always be cautious. Next up, the most valuable Abraham Lincoln wheat pennies, the 1948, without a mint mark in very fine condition. If you're wondering how much it's worth today, you're in the right place. All right, let's dive into this fascinating coin. The 1948 Lincoln wheat penny is one of those special pieces that hold a lot of historical significance in the world of coin collecting. This specific penny was minted in Philadelphia, as indicated by its absence of a mint mark, meaning it wasn't made at the San Francisco or Denver Mint. The 1948 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the Wheat Cent series, which was produced from 1909 until 1958. It features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the reverse, the iconic wheat stalks. What makes this coin so interesting is its place in the post-Y2 era, when the US was undergoing economic shifts. Now, let's talk about the condition. This penny is in very fine condition, which is one of the higher grade categories in the world of coin grading. In very fine condition, the coin shows minimal wear but retains a lot of the important details, especially in the Lincoln portrait and the wheat stalks on the reverse. In very fine condition, the Lincoln portrait should still be quite detailed, though you may notice slight wear on his hair, cheek, and the collar of his jacket. The reverse will have clear wheat stalks, but some of the finer details, like the date and mint mark area, might show light wear. Let's talk about what this coin is worth today. The 1948 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark in very fine condition, can command a decent price in the auction market. Typically, it ranges anywhere from $45,000 depending on the demand and the CEE. So, why is the 1948 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark valuable, even though it's not one of the rarest coins from the series? Well, its age, the absence of a mint mark, and the overall condition of the coin play a big part in determining its value. It's an important piece for those who collect pennies from the late 1940s, and being in very fine condition makes it even more desirable. Over the years, the value of the 1948 Lincoln wheat penny has slowly been rising, especially for higher-grade examples like the very fine condition pieces. With coin collecting becoming more popular, this particular penny has gained attention from serious collectors who focus on well-preserved examples. So, if you have a 1948 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, and it's in very fine condition, you could be looking at a coin worth between $75,000 in today's auction market. But keep in mind, prices can always fluctuate based on market trends and demand. Even though it might not be the most valuable coin in the Lincoln Wheat series, it's still a great find for collectors. The 1948 penny is a perfect example of how even coins from more recent years can hold value, especially when they are well-maintained and in high-grade condition. So there you have it. If you own a 1948 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition, you're looking at a coin worth between $1,000 today in the auction market. It may not be the most expensive wheat penny out there, but it's definitely a nice addition to your collections. Next up, the 1951 with S mint mark in very fine condition. Wondering how much it's worth today? Stick around to find out today. We're talking about a penny from the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a series that has captured the hearts of collectors for years. This particular penny is the 1951 Lincoln Wheat penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat penny may not be as famous as some of the earlier years like the 1943 steel penny, but it has a unique place in the history of U.S. coinage. The key to its value is the S mint mark, which signifies it was minted in San Francisco, and the condition it's in very fine. So what does very fine condition mean for this penny? In very fine condition, the coin will have light wear but still retain much of its original detail. The Lincoln portrait will be clear, though there may be some wear around the high points like his hair and cheek. The reverse wheat stalks will still show good detail, but they might be slightly worn down. In very fine condition, the penny will not be flawless, but it's far from damaged. It's considered a high-grade coin for this era, making it more desirable to collectors who are looking for well-preserved examples without paying for mint-state coins, which are even rarer. Now, let's talk value. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat penny with the S mint mark, in very fine condition, can fetch a pretty penny in today's market. On average, you can expect to see it selling anywhere from $130 to $150 at auction. Of course, the price can vary based on the demand and any fluctuations in the coin market. For example, if you find a particularly well-preserved example in this condition, it might go for even more. Compared to other wheat pennies, the 1951 with S mint mark is relatively affordable. But it's still a sought-after coin, especially if you're a collector who loves finding higher-grade examples from the 1950s. Its value might not break the bank, but it's definitely a rare find and a great addition to any collection. Coins like the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with S mint mark in very fine condition are actually trending upward in value, especially in the world of collectors who focus on Lincoln cents. That means if you hold on to your penny for a few years, it could be worth even more down the line. So if you've got a 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny in your collection, and it has that S mint mark, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Even in very fine condition, this coin could be worth between $200 and $250. And who knows, if you find a particularly nice one, it might be worth even more. Collectors are always on the lookout for well-preserved wheat pennies, and this one is no exception. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the S mint mark stands out as an excellent choice for anyone looking to expand their collection with a rare yet affordable coin from the 1950s. So there you have it. If you own a 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark in very fine condition, you're looking at a coin worth around $300 to $400 today in the auction market. It may not be the most expensive penny in the world, but it's certainly a valuable find for any collector. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coin collecting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future coin tips and market updates. Next up, the 1926 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark, and it features a tick line in fine condition. If you're wondering just how much this coin is worth in today's market, stick around, because we're about to find out. Now, the 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny is already an iconic coin in its own right. But when you add in the tick line and it's in fine condition, it becomes an even more interesting piece for collectors. So, what does this mean for its value? Let's take a closer look. Let's start with the basics. The 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat stalks on the reverse. But what makes this penny stand out is the tick line, a notable flaw or raised line that appears on the coin's surface. This tick line could be the result of a minting error or a die imperfection. While such marks can sometimes lower the coin's value, in this case, it can add an element of rarity that collectors find appealing. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor all the way to uncirculated, with several intermediary levels. The 1926 penny we're talking about today is in fine condition, meaning it has visible wear, but the key details are still sharp and distinguishable. In fine condition, the coin still holds much of its original design, which is important for collectors. So, what does the tick line and the fine condition do for the value of this penny? Well, it adds a bit of rarity and interest for collectors who are specifically looking for unique or slightly flawed coins to add to their collection. While this coin doesn't have the same rarity as, say, a 1922 Week D penny, it still draws attention because of that imperfection. In today's auction market, the value of a 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in fine condition generally ranges from $1.80 to $270. However, the tick line adds an extra layer of interest, so this could bump up the value slightly, depending on how much buyers are willing to pay for this specific variety. While the 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny in fine condition may not break any records in terms of value, that tick line could very well make it a special find for someone who's building a collection of error coins or simply wants a unique version of a classic penny. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958, includes some highly sought-after coins. The 1926 penny stands out, especially in fine condition, and when you add in that tick line, it becomes a great example of how even imperfections can add value in the world of coin collecting. So, if you have a 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a tick line and it's in fine condition, you could expect its value to fall in the range of $1.50 to $300 in today's market, with the potential for a higher price if there's increased demand from error coin collectors. As always, the condition of the coin is a huge factor in determining its value, and the tick line could make it just the type of unique coin someone is looking for. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all things coin collecting. Do you have a 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny with a tick line or any other unique coins? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear about it. Until next time, happy collecting.